into the dust.
All right, so for those of you who have watched this channel, you'll know one of my major segments are archaeological site visits. But what I realized is that visiting an archaeology site doesn't necessarily come naturally to everyone. There are do's, which if you follow them will help you make the most out of your visit, and there are don'ts, which if you don't avoid doing them, you will make an ass out of yourself and attract perhaps some unwanted attention.
As the woman descended the 91 steps, she was met with an angry crowd with some chanting jail and lock her up, pelted with water bottles as she made her way through the mob.
But most importantly, we want to leave the sites in as good condition as we found them so that future generations can enjoy them just as we have.
A thing of glory for 1,000,000 future generations to see. And we were here.
All right, let's jump right in. And I'm going to alternate between do's and don'ts because, you know, in life balance is everything, especially when you're standing on an ancient wall at an archaeological site. Don't do that. Do stick to the marked trails. These sites are not DIY hiking spots, people. Those trails are there to protect the site and to help you avoid stepping in a pit of snakes or destroying millennia-old artifacts. Check out here at Angkor Wat. Look at what could happen to you if you step off the trail. Don't touch the walls. Look, I get it. You're in the Koske cave and you see one of those ancient stenciled handprints and you're like, oh, my hand is a descendant of that hand. Let me touch it. Or it's stone. It's been there forever. It's indestructible. Newsflash, no, it's not, Karen. The oil from your hands contributes to the deterioration of that pigment. We're here to enjoy the history and to preserve the history, not moisturize it. Do observe the photography rules. Look, it's cool to check out the details up close and take some pictures, but first, check the rules. Some sites have a strict no photography rule, and if you think it's cool to surreptitiously pull out your phone and take some, spoiler alert, it's not. Because there are reasons. Some sites are holy for indigenous communities and people who live nearby, and other sites raise very needed money for preservation by selling licensed merchandise, books, and photography. So, follow the rules.
I just showed you, don't take no photos.
You're gonna break your feet again like you did earlier?
Are you harassing me?
No.
Don't take souvenirs. Look, I know what you're probably thinking. It's just some little stone. But every time you take a stone, you're robbing the site of a little bit of its history and its context. And guess what? If everyone who visited bummed a little rock, pretty soon there wouldn't be any site left. Plus, you risk jail time, deportation, fines, or getting stuck in some curse-laden horror movie. Your call. So keep your hands to yourself, sticky fingers.
I'll handle this one.
Nice booby trap.
Do. Study up. Educate yourself before you go. Take it from me, I've been to a lot of them. Aside from the really famous archaeology sites like the Pyramid, Petra, Borobudur, etc., most of them are not actually much to see, really just piles of stones in some cases. So do yourself a favor and read up on the site before you go, bring a guidebook, and broken record alert, join one of the guided tours. You'll appreciate what you're seeing so much more if you know that this ditch you're looking at is actually a Neolithic irrigation masterpiece and are familiar with the human stories behind it. Don't. Bring your pet children. Look, I'm sure Mr. Fluffers is adorable, but he is not aiding the cause of preservation if he's digging up soil or marking his territory on an ancient temple. So please, leave the pets home. See, it's not that hard to be a good guest, right? And in this way, you're not going to shock your friends and family with a horrific breach of decorum.
Would you please pass the jelly?
But we're not done yet, because next we're going to level up. to make your trip something that's respectable and won't embarrass you, to something that is actually incredibly enriching. Okay, so now you've got the basics down. You're not stepping on ancient temple altars or strolling over landmines. But now here are my tips for making your visit next level. Many archaeological sites have guides, docents, and archaeologists on site. Don't be shy. Ask those burning questions. These folks are walking encyclopedias who are there to help you understand the cultural, historical, and spiritual significance of the site. And that's kind of their job.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the burial place of Mumtaz. How did she die? A road traffic accident.
Support local communities. Whenever possible, buy those souvenirs from local merchants instead of from big chains. Hire a local guide, not one from Thomas Cook. Not only does this boost the local economy by putting that money right in the locals' pockets, it will also let you come home with something that's more unique that you couldn't just buy in another store somewhere else. But don't patronize small children selling stuff, as many of them are forced into that kind of work. If you want to help, donate something to a local charity. Tune into the spirit of the place. Okay, so bear with me. This isn't just some hippie talk.
Welcome. We're gathered here today because we are spiritual, but not like religious.
Many archaeological sites hold deep spiritual significance for the local communities. Pause. Look around. If it's a site that's no longer used, try to imagine what it was like when it was chock full of worshippers. Take a spirituality-themed tour. All of this will be humbling in the best way. And hey, if my spiritual connection tip doesn't quite resonate, at least stop, pause, and say a silent prayer to those ancient engineers who built something that would even outlast our modern architectural masterpieces. And last but not least, my final tip. Write a journal. And that goes for archaeology sites and life in general. You'll get to look back, read, and see how you've built your archaeology mind muscle over time in appreciating these sites. Well, there you have it. The do's and don'ts that every would-be Indiana Jones needs to know. If you follow these tips, not only will you have an amazing experience, you'll help guarantee that future generations can do the same.
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
Ruins are fragile, folks. They can't yell at you, but I can.
Listen to me!
If you're ready to visit your first or next archaeological site, why not make it a learning experience?
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
And if you want to do a little pre-reading without the actual reading part, check out my site visit series to get the lowdown on these places, and with more coming all the time. And until next time, remember, history may be old, but we all can prevent it from getting stale. See you in the next adventure. Hey, if you like what you heard, give me that thumbs up below, hit that bell to subscribe, or if you want to support more independent archaeology content, consider contributing to my Patreon, where you can enjoy some exclusive members-only benefits and other goodies. Until the next dig.